Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So we are back here again. I will personally like to say it's season two for me with Bimal sir, where we are kickstarting our series of webinar. And I have heard that people were reaching out to sir and his team that why the Zoho webinar is not happening. So we have listened to all, and here we are back with sir. And individually, I feel that I am back at home. If Bimal sir's webinar or boutique dinner, GST Chronicles dinner is not happening, I feel something is missing in my life. Because every time I meet him and my team meets him, we always take something back. The respect that sir receives, the humility that he has, even after seeing the summit of his career and growing even more, it's so good for us to see. So if you are able to see and hear us, just say something or not say something, sorry, just give a hi or wave at us so that we'll also feel kind of motivated even more. And without taking much time of yours, I would like to give a lovely introduction to Bimal sir. I love doing it personally again and again. So as we all know, people who know Bimal sir, they know what Bimal sir is. But there is always 10 to 20% of new folks who join us. For them, it is specifically for them, I would like to say that CA Bimal sir is an honorary member of this chartered accountant fraternity who has been a practicing CA for more than 21 or 22 odd years. He's a renowned chartered accountant actually and a member of ICAI since 1994 and has exceptional reputation for his expertise in tax laws, compliance, and financial strategies. His vast knowledge and profound insights into the ever evolving this tax ecosystem of our country is a sight to see and behold. He has amassed massive respect amongst his colleagues, amongst practicing chartered accountants, not even in India. I will say he has a global stature and it's just scraping the surface. He also has a bachelor's degree in law and a qualified SAP financial control consultant, plus 18 years of working experience in companies like LG, Honda, Hindustan Development Corp, Python and Company, and now executive director and of A to Z Corp. The legendary Bimal sir is having hands-on experience in providing opinion and advisory services, carrying diagnostic of business operations review, structuring of business model undertaking litigation services at all appropriate forums. Also, for those people who are new and is not knowing the stature of Bimal ji has a world record, that too in Japan, where he was a keynote speaker at this Guinness World Records made by ICSI in the largest taxation mission on GST, which was graced by 4,500 participants, breaking the record of Japan. And I personally, because I visit to so many boutique, I am honored to do that. I know sometimes Bimal sir shares his anecdote of how he started his career and the way he started, and within such short span of time he got that Guinness World Record and defeated a country like Japan is another story for some other day, but I would surely share one day. And it's not even done as yet. He has won numerous awards from Amity School, Noida, Best Speaker Award from NIRC, ICAI, ICWAI, Young Achievement Award at Igniting Minds 2015, and also Best Participating Award in NSOP 117th batch by the ICSI. So I feel really honored to present or Zoho from the Zoho family. All together, we feel really honored that Bimal sir has chosen us, chosen a platform where he is giving his time. That too, everything today comes at a cost, but he is giving us his time just for the passion of his subject, passion of his followers. So without much ado, Bimal sir, dais is all yours now.
At the outset, let me thank Hers for a lovely introduction. Indeed, this platform is really helping all of us together. I must say that we are joining together, we are walking together, and real walk the talk. That's what we are doing through Zoho platform. And a lot many program we are doing on GST, and we are definitely trying our best to make GST good and simple tax. I do not know to what extent it is, but we are trying our best. And I'm thanking all the participants who take out their time from their busy schedule and join these webinars, rest assured, there will be value addition and you will definitely get the value addition. And in today's webinar also, I'm going to give you the good professional opportunities also. What are the changes in Union Budget 2024 and how and which areas which you can look into, which is immediate professional opportunity for all of us together. You may be practicing in GST or you may be working in a company and looking after GST. Both way, today I'm going to touch base number of good important changes in Union Budget 2024 for our professional acumen and endeavors. So thanking each one of you and thanking hers also. And indeed, Zoho is taking this initiative. Great, kudos to them as well that they are connecting both of us, my participants and me together. So that's the great part. So before I start, my request to all the participants would be if you can just send a hi or hello on question answers tab. At least I will come to know that you can see me and you are. I'm very much audible to each one of you. If you can just say yes, hi, whatever convenient to you in the question answers tab, and immediately then we will start our deliberation today. Okay.
Sorry to interrupt, sir. Please carry on.
Yeah, please tell me, no problem.
Yeah, so till the attendees are kind of gasping all this, I just wanted to ask, and this question, dear attendees, it's behalf on all of us practicing chartered accountants who are attending, sir. That, sir, what I've seen in the last couple of months, that even if people at your stature who have achieved so much, do you feel sometimes that like I'm not achieving as much as I want, or do you feel, I don't want to use this word, but still insecure that I had this dream, but I'm still going to achieve it in some way or the other? Do you have that jitters or do you have that fear that what will happen tomorrow? But basically, it's a mental health condition that we all go through. We don't speak it out loud. So at your stature, sir, do you go through, and if yes, how do you deal with it, and what will you advise to the upcoming chartered accountants, practitioners?
I will simply say, see, competition is throughout. And we have to really work hard to ensure that we are achieving whatever we are aiming for. And without competition, sometimes you will feel like dull. So less competition be there and positive competition. With the positive competition, constructive competition, we grow and we grow together. So I don't feel like, having competition is a negative to us. It is very good because we always keep brushing ourselves, creating our own excellency and capability. And definitely this competition helps us to learn more and more. And that's what Dil Mage Mo. And that's what we have to do. And that is what the, way forward for all of us together. If we love our subject matter, none can beat us. We have to really, keep working hard, committed, dedicated, sincerity, hardworking, and less competition be there, no problem. If I'm capable of, then of course God will come forward and help me out. It is only dependent upon our wish, how strong we are inside. So don't worry about competition will throughout be there, but that will not take away because ultimately we are confident. We are putting our best, and that's what we must try. That would be my suggestion to all young tax professionals. Hope all of you will agree with me. I'm not taking much time on this topic, but I'm sure you'd be agreeing with me that this is very important for all of us to keep pace on, and that is how we grow together. So having said that, so Hers, I'm sure you got satisfied with the answer of question which you posted to me.
Correct. People are also happy, sir. With this, I give the dice to you. Thank you so much.
Okay, all right. Let me then start. Today, I'm going to touch base important changes in GST law, which is coming from Union Budget 2024. Let me tell you the background that Finance Bill number 2 has become Finance Act 2024. But there's a provision need to be notified. So a lot of you would be having number of questions in your mind. When these provisions going to be applicable? So I will touch base everything, and definitely we have question answer session at the end of the webinar. So rest assured, any doubt in your mind, I'm there to resolve today. You have to just take down those pointers one by one. Second, this webinar is recorded. So those who are participating today, they will get recording session also. So in case you miss out something, but don't go away. My only humble request and submission to each one of you would be, please be with me for an hour. Give your 1 hour. See, live session is live session. Recording, and in our VG schedule, we have seen recording, it takes time. So 1 hour maximum. And I'm going to discuss only important one, so that those important changes help us to understand the important changes in GST law by Union Budget 2024. So are we all ready? If we all are ready, once again, thumbs up or your yes on question answers tab, then I will start immediately. So perfect, lot many thumbs up has come. So I'm being given go ahead. So let me start with. I'm going to touch base important one. I'm not going to discuss all the changes. Those are the important changes in GST law I'm going to discuss today. So you may just note down those pointers which I'm discussing today. And of course, with the video recording, if something missed out, you can always cross-check, verify, and then reaffirm what I said in my today's webinar. So let's start with. As you know that clearly the chargeability section 9 subsection 1 NCGST Act, similar like IGST and UTGST, ENA is being taken outside the GST. ENA, which is being used for manufacturing of alcoholic liquor for human consumption, is now being taken out from the ambit of GST. The first one. The second one, section 11 capital A. It is very important. And what is the context? Let me tell you. We have seen since introduction of GST law 7 years gone, we find a lot many circulars are being issued to clarify, and this clarification comes on the recommendation of GST Council. Sometimes there's a classification dispute, sometimes there's a rate dispute, whether the 5% rate applicable or 12% rate applicable. So because of these disputes, there is non-levy or short levy. And being a taxpayer, there may be a case you're not charging GST, or you're charging GST but at a lower rate. And why you're doing so? Because this is general practice in the trade, industry, and commerce. So there is no mensrea on your part. Of general practice as existing in the industry, you are following the same. And maybe when this is being understood by GST Council, they recommend, okay, whatever you did up to a particular date, we will not dispute the same. That may be lower rate applicable or GST being exempted. Lot many circular they have issued in the past, but there was no corresponding provision. Very first time, section 11 capital A under CGST Act, similar like under IGST section 6A, similar like under UTGST section 8A, they have introduced starting with a non-obstante clause. Non-obstante clause, notwithstanding anything contained in this act. They are saying, and they are regularizing. So government is regularizing non-levy or short levy because of general practice in the trade, industry, and commerce. So all those circular which is being issued on the broader context as its where its basis is now getting regularized and getting endorsement. The power is coming from section 11 capital A. So this is what the section they have brought to regularize non-levy and short levy, and all those circular will get legal backing. This is what section 11 capital A. The actual discussion starts now. So here you need to pay attention. I'm going to discuss 3 important changes which is pertaining to GST input tax credit, and there are different provision. The first one, there is change under section 13 subsection 3 time of supply for reverse charge liability. Section 31, subsection 3, clause F, self-invoice, read with Rule 36 1B, read with circular number 211, dated 26 June 2024. So combination of all these provisions I'm going to discuss in this particular case study. And you have to listen me very carefully. I'm starting with an example so that you can understand this aspect. I'm a lawyer. Let's say you have taken advocate services from Bimal Jain on 1st January 2020. Relevant financial year is 1920. You have taken services from an advocate and I raised the invoice for 10 lakh rupees. I'm not supposed to charge GST. I'm not registered in GST. It is you, recipient, business entity, need to pay GST under reverse charge. My invoice date was 1st January 2020. But let's assume till today, 30th August 2024, you as a recipient has neither made the payment to Bimal Jain nor discharged the RCM liability. Now today on 30th August 2024, you're having a lot of questions. What are those questions? Question number 1. RCM is applicable. I have not paid any amount to Bimal Jain advocate. With the RCM applicable first. If RCM applicable, what would be point of taxation, time of supply? Is it going to be 1st January 2020 or is it going to be 30th August 2024? Third question, if RCM applicable, let's assume, then what would be the eligible document for you, for buyer, for recipient to avail credit? And when it is a question of availing credit, I'm supposed to pay RCM and that too along with interest. So there are many questions surrounding here. Now, in this Union Budget 2024, they have made amendment in Section 13, subsection 3, with Section 31, subsection 3, clause F. What are the crux of these change? I'm telling you. So you just take it down. Though advocate is not registered in GST, because he's not registered, but it is subject to RCM, reverse charge. You as a recipient need to discharge the GST liability under reverse charge, and where it is falling under which notification, you will check it out, 13/2017 central taxes. So advocate providing services to business entity subject to RCM. Now question will come, you have not paid the amount to me. We are standing on 30th August 2024. What would be the fate and what are the clarification given by circular number 211, which I'm referring to, 26 June 2024. Listen very carefully. Wherever you are procuring from unregistered supplier advocate subject to RCM, you as a recipient need to raise self-invoice to yourself. You as a recipient. Under Section 31, subsection 3, clause F, you need to raise invoice to yourself. And that would be your eligible document for availing credit, provided you pay the RCM liability as per Rule 36, sub Rule 1, clause B. Now, question will come. Invoice which is to be raised, it was supposed to be raised on 1st January 2020. You didn't raise to yourself. You're raising today, 30th August 2024. Can you do that? Answer is yes, you can do that. First part. If you're raising on 30th August 2024, then quite obvious, we are talking about availment of credit, right? That is the important one. That's what we are discussing. Whether credit is available or not. As per section 16, subsection 4. See, you were supposed to raise invoice on 1st January 2020. Had you raised the invoice dated 1st January 2020, then financial year 1920 would be the relevant financial year. Determine the time limit criteria under section 16, subsection 4, and you would have lost the credit. But since you are raising self-invoice today, today's dated 30th August 2024, then financial year 24-25 would be the relevant financial year. Determine time limit criteria under section 16, subsection 4. And for that, credit is available. But what is the non-compliances here? You were supposed to raise on 1st January 2020, which you didn't do. So there would be penalty under section 122 as referred in circular number 211. What would be the penalty for such compliances? It is not being stated in that circular, but to me, it is 50,000 rupees. Under section 122, subsection 3, clause E, 50,000 rupees. And being recipient, you would be willing to pay 50,000. You're only interested to get the credit which was otherwise lost, but now made available because you are raising self-invoice in today's date, 30th August 2024. So there would be penalty of 50,000 rupees under section 122, subsection 3, clause E. Now, next question will come. RCM is applicable. It is confirmed. You were supposed to pay on 1st January 2020, which you are paying now on 30th August 24. Whether interest leviable? Answer is yes. Interest is leviable. So RCM need to be paid through e-cash ledger. Even interest need to be paid through e-cash ledger. RCM paid, credit is available, provided the use for taxable outward supplies, but interest is a cost. So it is very much important. If you have not paid RCM liability procured from unregistered supplier, you can pay now, take credit. Interest is leviable. If you pay immediately, then your interest meter gets stops here only. So it is highly advisable you go back and check all such RCM liability procured from unregistered supplier. Having said that, now the important thing which you must keep to your mind, interest, of course, leviable as per POT provision under section 13, subsection 3. Now, the last point of this topic is, I have discussed all this scenario when you're procuring from unregistered supplier advocate. Had it been registered supplier, let's say GTA, Goods Transport Agency, registered, subject to RCM, then what happened? Whatever I have discussed, with the same discussion going to be applicable. When I'm saying that the GTA is registered in GST, but subject to RCM. In that case, the whole discussion, whatever I have done, is not applicable. In case of registered supplier, quite obvious, he must have raised the invoice on 1st January 2020. He must have shown the same in GSTR 1, subject to RCM. It must have come in your 2A of 1920 for liability to be paid by you under RCM. And for that credit availment is the invoice raised by GTA, which is a registered supplier, but subject to RCM. Then financial year 1920 would be the relevant financial year to satisfy the criteria of section 16, subsection 4. So whatever I have discussed initially, it was all meant when you're procuring from unregistered supplier. So change pertaining to section 13, subsection 3, 31, subsection 3, clause F, rule 36, subrule 1B, circular number 211 dated 26 June 2024, all the discussion is pertaining to unregistered supplier subject to RCM with credit availment and RCM liability. Hope I'm clear to all. If I'm clear to all, can I see thumbs up from each one of you so that I can move to the next topic of the day? A big thumbs up so that to me, clear that you all got it. Or you can always say yes in question answers tab also. In question answers tab also. Perfect, perfect. All right. Binod, just park your question. We will take a little later in question answer session. I have seen your, Okay, all right. Now next. We have seen in GST that many taxpayers could not file their 3B on time. And thereby they could not avail the credit as per section 16 subsection 4. What were the initial provision under section 16 subsection 4 for availing credit time limit? Earliest of due date for furnishing return under section 39, which is GSTR 3B for the month of September following the end of relevant financial year, 28th October. Or due date of furnishing annual return, which is 31st December. Due date of furnishing return under section 39 for the month of September, this provision got omitted from 1st October 2022 and it was made 30th November. This is the background. But for initial financial year, we have seen the challenges and lot of litigation, right? Lot of litigation. Even the SLP we have filed in the Supreme Court only on this time limit criteria. A lot of judgment has come from different high court on constitutional validity, and all the high court has given judgment against the taxpayer. AP High Court, Thirumala Konda, Patna High Court, Govinda Construction, Calcutta High Court, BBA Infrastructure, Chhattisgarh High Court, Jain Brothers, all the judgment against us. We filed SLP in the Supreme. SLP got admitted. Notice was issued to the revenue for filing counter. And we were representing this subject matter to GST Council as well. And fortunate part, the important laudable change under section 16 subsection 5. And this is immediate. You must take a note of it. Just take a note of it. For initial 4 financial year, 17-18, 18-19, 19-20, and 20-21. For initial 4 financial year. If you could not submit your 3B on time, which is 20th October of succeeding financial year, then this section 16 subsection 5 is giving a laudable taxpayer friendly change and saying that you're entitled to avail credit. Only thing, you must have availed the credit through 3B and by 30th November 2021. For initial 4 financial year, if you have availed credit through 3B by a date 30th November 2021, then you are entitled. So for 17-18, you have availed through 3B by 30th November 21, you're entitled to. You can avail the credit. And this is what the change they have brought under section 16 subsection 5. Laudable one. And this is to be read with the retrospective date, July 1, 2017. Only rider which they have put, just because it was, let's say, not within time and you end up paying the ITC because you have not availed within time, then provision is being made. Once liability is being paid or ITC is being reversed, then you are not entitled to any benefit. And this point we are discussing throughout, compliant taxpayer versus non-compliant taxpayer. We have seen in GST that non-compliant taxpayer gets the advantage, but that is how the provision all about. So what I said under section 16, subsection 5, for initial 4 financial year, 17-18, 18-19, 19-20, 20-21. If you have availed through 3B, by 30th November 2021, you are entitled to. Now here the challenge. It is a part of now Finance Act, but this provision yet to be notified. This is not notified as yet. And I'm damn sure it will get notified within a month or two. But today's challenge is, sometime officer concerned, let's say your matter is pending before adjudication authority, or maybe before appellate authority. You can always show them this provision has come with retrospective date. It will get notified very soon after a month or two. It's just a subject, it's just a matter of time, nothing else. So nothing is going away. So some tax officers are not agreeing to it. And they're saying that unless it gets notified, I can't give you the relief. I'm telling you one thing. First, you cite a provision to them. In case they agreed for it, you get the advantage. In case he's not agreeing and passing order against you, I will suggest you that you should wait, because then once order is being passed, then quite obvious you have to file appeal also. So you should not miss the deadline for filing appeal also. Keep it to your mind. And then before appellate authority, as and when it gets notified, you can show the provision to get the necessary relief, which is being provided through section 16, subsection 5. This is my submission to all of you. Now, having said that, now one more point related to this point which I'm discussing with all of you. Provision is saying you will get benefit only when you have availed through 3B. What happened if you have not availed through 3B? Maybe you have availed through 9 and 9C, annual return and reconciliation statement. Or maybe a case you have not availed through 9 and 9C, you have availed in your books of accounts. Are you not entitled? See, as per the law, they are saying you will get the credit only when you have availed through 3B. And that too by 30th November 2021, right? As per law, 3B. But they are not giving any relief unless it is being availed. They are saying 3B is important. My submission to all of you. To my mind, I can dispute this subject matter. I'm recalling Madras High Court judgment Kevin HP Gas and Sanmoga Hardware Electricals. In those judgment, in Kevin HP Gas, 3B was late filed, due date got expired, it was denied, notice was issued, but what happened in that judgment, it was discussed, and which is equally important, which I'm discussing now. Can we say that we have to avail credit through 3B? Can we say that? To my mind, if you'd be recalling section 37, 38, 39, 42, 43, 43A, these are the section, but what is important? GSTR 1 by supplier gets auto-populated for the recipient in 2A, right? Then the recipient filing 2, if any changes made by recipient gets auto-populated for supplier in 1A, supplier need to accept or reject and then file GSTR 3. This provision was existing till 1st October 2022. Meaning thereby, until 1st October 2022, there was 3B also, there was GSTR 2 also. And the point which was argued before Madras High Court, that 3B is only a document, no. There was GSTR 2, which never got implemented. So you can't deny my credit only in this pretext that I have not availed through 3B. There was GSTR 2, which never got implemented. And this was accepted by Honorable Madras High Court. Even in Anmoga hardware electricals, credit was availed through 9 and 9C, not through 3B, and it was accepted. So to my mind, on those parameters, 3B and 2 was coexisting till 1st October 2022. So my credit is only dependent on 3B, and always litigate the matter. So I given food for thought that this provision which is talking about availed through 3B by 30th November 21, and I can dispute if it is not availed through 3B, but I'm entitled to for the region I've discussed just by ago. Hope I'm clear to all. Can I see once again thumbs up on this point on section 16, subsection 5? Can you say thumbs up so that I get a clarity? My audience has understood this provision. Perfect. Thank you very much. Now coming back to the next change, section 16, subsection 6. What is this provision? First, listen. You are a registered person in GST. And for some reason, your registration got cancelled. Then we all know that once our registration cancelled, we are not able to file the return. If we are not able to file the return, then repercussion would be that time limit to avail credit as per section 16, subsection 4 sometime gets expired. And our, that cancel registration get revoked. So what happened? When the credit is available, for that, they have given a relief under section 16, subsection 6. What is that relief? Listen very carefully. Your registration get cancelled and you could not submit your GSTR 3B, and thereby the time limit criteria section 16, subsection 4 could not be satisfied. Then they are giving the relief. What is the relief? Listen that part carefully. Once registration cancelled and then gets revoked, then you're entitled to file your GST return. 30th November of succeeding financial year is open to you. You must file all your return from cancellation till revocation 30th November of succeeding financial year, if that is open. In case that is not open, then in that case, they are saying that you must submit all your return from cancellation till revocation in 30 days, within 30 days from the revocation order. If 30th November gets expired, then the window open to you 30 days from the revocation order to file all return starting from cancellation till revocation, and you're entitled to avail credit as per section 16, subsection 6 of CGST Act. Hope I'm clear on this aspect. Can I see thumbs up once again on this aspect? Can you say that, yes, sir, we got it? Can I see thumbs up? So if you are saying thumbs up, means I'm happy that you are understanding my pointers, which I'm telling you. That's perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you. So you got it. Perfect. All right. Now, having said that, the next important change. I'm just picking up the important changes. There are many provision where they have inserted reference of 74A. It's of no use. So I'm discussing the important one. If you happen to be a TDS deductor and you need to file GSTR 7, but let's say in a particular month there is no TDS deduction, nil. So we have seen in the past such TDS deductor, we are not filing GSTR 7. But now under section 39, subsection 3, they have made this provision compulsory. Even though there is nil TDS deducted in a particular tax period, you need to file GSTR 7. Hope I'm clear to this aspect. Coming back to the next important change, and this change I want to discuss with each one of you and with a practical example. Let's say you're having a 10 lakh rupees GST liability. Listen very carefully because you need to answer it also. Maybe you can answer in the question answer tab so that I can understand that my audience is understanding this particular case study. And I will tell you the change also. Let's say you are having 10 lakh rupees GST liability for the month of, let's say, August. Let's assume August. 10 lakh rupees GST liability. You got 8 lakh rupees lying in your e-credit ledger. So net tax liability is only 2 lakh rupees. Perfect. My first question goes to all of you. When you are going to file your 3B for the month of August on 20th September, you will pay interest on 10 lakh or 2 lakh. Write down in question answers tab, 10 lakh or 2 lakh. Only 10 or 2. That is what you need to write down, nothing else. I'm just expecting that you must write either 10 or 2 in question answers tab. 2 lakh rupees. 2 lakh rupees. Of course, interest, Anuj. Net tax liability, of course, we have to pay interest. Now, having said that, some of you have really answered well. I'm adding one more parameter. Let's say before 20th September, I deposited 1 lakh rupees in my e-cash ledger. Before 20th September, which is due date for filing 3B for the month of August, I deposited 1 lakh rupees in my e-cash ledger. Then actually I need to pay 1 lakh when I'm submitting my 3B. Next question goes to all of you. Now interest is going to be leviable on 2 lakh or 1 lakh rupees, which is net off with the balance lying in your e-cash ledger, right? Your answer in a question answers tab, whether interest is going to be leviable on 2 lakh or 1 lakh. Please write down your answer in question answers tab, 2 or 1. What would be your answer? 2 or 1? Still, I'm expecting the reply because it is a little slow. That's the reason answer might pop up after 30 seconds, but you should write down. Interest going to be leviable on 2 or 1 lakh rupees. Of course, interest is going to be leviable on 1 lakh rupees only. Only 1 lakh rupees. Then what is the change they have brought in this section 50 subsection 1? The change they have brought, listen very carefully. Listen very, very carefully. The changes they have brought. Of course, you need to pay interest on net tax liability, and net tax liability now can be net off with the balance lying in your e-cash ledger also. The amendment in Rule 88B. So this is what they have provided. So interest only on 1 lakh rupees, subject to. If any proceedings got initiated, section 73 or 74, and 73 non-fraud case, so-called notice and order, 74 fraud case, 73 and 74 now only applicable up to financial year 23-24. From 24-25 onwards financial year, a new section 74 capital A got introduced. So they have included the reference of section 74A along with 73 or 74. So if any proceedings got initiated under section 73, 74, 74A, then interest is applicable on gross tax liability, 10 lakh rupees. 10 lakh rupees. So this is what I wanted to explain to all of you. Am I clear to all? Can I see yes? Can I see thumbs up once again that you understood this aspect? Can you quickly say thumbs up that yes, it is clear to all? Perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right. So this was section 50, subsection 1. Now coming back to section 54. 54 is the refund under GST law. There is one specific change which they have brought under section 54, read with section 16, subsection 5 of IGST Act. We are exporting goods, and goods are subject to export duty. Very carefully, if you are exporting goods, those goods are subject to export duty, then you are not entitled. You are not entitled neither for refund of ITC nor refund of IGST. Subject goods are export duty leviable, then you will not get refund of ITC or you will not get refund of IGST as well. This is what the change they have brought under section 54 subsection 15 read with section 16 subsection 5 of IGST Act. Hope I'm clear to all of you. Hope I'm clear to all of you. All right. Coming back to there are certain section 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66. They have inserted the reference of 74A, which I'm going to discuss just a little later. So 74A reference they have introduced. Now coming to important section, section 70. How many of you has got someone from GST department? How many of you? I do not know, but you can say yes in the question answers tab. How many of you have got someone from the GST department? It may be DGGI, it may be NT evasion, it may be local SGST, SIB. They are sending someone, and someone they normally send to CEO, CFO. They want only CEO, CFO should come and give the statement. And you know the irony of such someone. They call you at 11 o'clock in the morning and will make you sit till evening. They will start proceedings only late in the evening. And that is how it is going on against ease of business. And we were changing in the past and telling to the department that CEO, CFO might not be knowing GST related, provision. They might not be knowing. They are looking after overall operation. GST related, compliances either being looked after by tax manager or maybe a consultant who could be chartered accountant, a lawyer, company secretary, CMA. And we wanted to present that summoned person before the summoning authority, but they were not allowing us. They were not allowing us. This year, the change has been brought under section 70, subsection 1A. Now, this provision is saying, if you got the summon and you want to authorize Bimal Jain to represent on your behalf, it is possible, doable. It can be done. You need to give power of attorney to Bimal Jain, and Bimal Jain will go on your behalf before the authority. He must state the true and fair facts statement and give true disclosures. That's what obligation on Bimal Jain, who is your authorized person on your behalf. But this is now being allowed. So laudable change under section 70, subsection 1A. Having said that, now coming back to 73 and 74. 73 non-fraud case, right? And 74 fraud case. Because notice is being issued, order is being passed, and time limit prescribed that 3 years for 73, 5 years for 74, and for notice to be issued at least 3 months before for 73, and for 74 at least 6 months before fraud cases. Now 73 and 74 has lost the relevance. And 73 and 74 is applicable only up to financial year 23-24. So all the discussion of 73 and 74 applicable only for the financial year 23-24. So this is the change you must keep to your mind. So what is the new important change? Section 74, capital A, capital A. And this is going to be applicable from financial year 24-25 and onwards. 24-25 and onwards. This 74 capital A is now providing common timeline. I'm repeating again, common timeline, whether it is non-fraud case or fraud case. Common timeline for issuance of so-called notice or order, whether non-fraud case or fraud case. So what is the change? You need to listen very carefully. We are standing on 30th August 2024. Financial year 24-25, relevant. Which section going to be applicable? 74 capital A. So what is the common timeline? Listen very carefully. Now there's no bifurcation of fraud and non-fraud case. What is the timeline? Timeline is saying now department will issue so-called notice in 42 months from the due date of furnishing annual return. For non-payment of taxes, short payment of taxes, ITC wrongly availed or utilized. Erroneous refund, 42 months from the date of erroneous refund. 42 months time period for issuance of so-called notice from the due date of furnishing annual return. Order to be passed in 12 months from the date of issuance of so-called notice, which can further be extended by 6 months. Region to be recorded in writing by commissioner or any proper officer not below the rank of joint commissioner. I hope I'm clear. I'm repeating again. What is the timeline? You can write in a question answer tab. Though I said, I just want to judge my audience whether you all are with me or not. So-called notice to be issued within how many months? Write down in a question answer tab, 42 months from the due date of furnishing annual return. And when order to be passed, within 12 plus 6 from the date of issuance of so-called notice, plus 6 only by commissioner or proper officer not below the rank of joint commissioner. So total period is now 42 plus 6. 60 months is now being identified whether it is a fraud case or non-fraud case. Hope I'm clear. Can I see thumbs up on this point that it is clear? Can you say thumbs up? Thumbs up on this point that this part is clear? Perfect, perfect. So a lot of you have said yes. Now, but we have seen in, 73 and 74, the penalty provision was different. If it is non-fraud case, different penalty provision. If it is fraud case, then different penalty provision, right? Listen carefully what will happen under section 74 capital A. And this is relevant for this financial year 24-25 onwards. So you must take a note of it. Maybe strategically you need to decide also. So what is the penalty provision? If it is non-fraud case, then penalty would be higher of 20,000, 10,000 CGST, 10,000 SGST, 10% of tax amount, higher of 20,000 or 10% of tax amount in case of non-fraud case. What happened for the fraud case? Penalty would be 100% of tax amount. 100% of tax amount. So this is what the penalty. But again, we have seen in 73 and 74 that if we pay the liability before so-called notice, then some reduction was there, right? So listen this part as well carefully. If it is non-fraud case, non-fraud, there is no fraud, no suppression, no misstatement. It is higher up to 20,000 or 10% of tax amount, but what it is saying, if you have paid the tax and interest before issuance of so-called notice, no penalty. No penalty. Even though so-called notice got issued and you have paid the tax and interest within 60 days of so-called notice, which was earlier 30 days only. Now they're saying 60 days. Within 60 days of so-called notice, then no penalty. If the 60 days is gone, then it would be 20,000 or 10% of tax amount, whichever is higher. It is for the non-fraud case. Coming back to the fraud case. Maximum is 100% of tax amount, penalty. But again, in a phased manner. If you pay tax and interest before issuance of so-called notice, then penalty reduced to 15%. 15%. If you pay within 60 days of so-called notice, tax and interest, then penalty reduced to 25%. 25%, 60 days, which was earlier only 30 days. If you pay tax and interest within 60 days of order passed, then penalty reduced to 50%. And thereafter, it would be 100% of tax amount as penalty. 15% before issuance of so-called notice. 60 days of so-called notice, 25%. 60 days of order passed, 50%. Otherwise, 100% of tax amount as penalty. Similar like, and the time period which was earlier 30 days, it is now going to be 60 days. This is how the penalty will get reduced and to be charged in case of fraud case. Now, there is a common timeline. So they will say in the so-called notice whether they are alleging any fraud on you. If they are alleging fraud on you, then corresponding penalty provision going to be applicable. If they are not alleging fraud, then of course non-fraud case penalty provision going to be applicable. Common section 74 capital A. Am I clear to all? Can I see yes, thumbs up from each one of you? Can you say in question answers tab that this is clear to you? Can I see thumbs up and question answers tab? Yes, it is clear to all of you. 74 capital A. Perfect, perfect. Thank you very much. So lot of yes, a lot of you are saying clear. So thank you very much. Thank you very much. So thank you, Mr. Manjuna. Thank you. All right. Now we have done a 74 capital A. Now coming back. When you are filing appeal under section 107 before first appellate authority, when you are filing appeal before first appellate authority, you need to make a pre-deposit, right? Pre-deposit. So when you are filing appeal before commissioner appeal, first appellate authority, what you need to do, you need to make first 100% of your admitted tax liability, interest and penalty, fees and fines. Whatever admitted, you must pay 100%. Then whatever disputed tax exists, you need to make mandatory pre-deposit of 10% of disputed tax, subject to maximum of 50 crore, 25 CGST, 25 SGST. Now it is getting reduced to 40 crore, 20 CGST, 20 SGST. So first you pay your admitted tax, interest, penalty, late fees, then mandatory pre-deposit of 10% of disputed tax, subject to maximum of 50 crore earlier, but now going to reduce to 40 crore. I'm clear to all of you. Can I ask one question? I'm asking you, please answer it. This 10% which we are calculating, say for disputed tax, but still I'm asking for my clarity. Even interest is disputed. Penalty is being disputed. do we require to make pre-deposit of this disputed interest penalty? Say yes or no in question answer tab. Say yes or no. No. No need of pre-deposit. No need of pre-deposit on disputed interest or penalty. It's only on disputed tax. Perfect. Those who are answering correctly. Thank you very much. I just asked. Don't take me otherwise. I just asked. This is for the first appellate authority. Coming back to section 109. Now, anti-profiteering cases as per section 171. Sunset clause is being announced. Date to be notified. 53rd GST Council meeting has said that from 1st April 2025, anti-profiteering cases will not go to CCI. It will go to principal bench of GST 80, GST Appellate Tribunal. This is what the change they have brought. Coming back to the appeal before Appellate Tribunal. Two important change you must keep to your mind. Two important change. Know that time limit file appeal before Appellate Tribunal, and we were a little worried about also that what is the time period, because 1st August was the date announced. Time limit is also expiring, but the fortunate part, they have said this time limit going to be calculated from a date to be notified. So the criteria stipulated time period 3 months for filing appeal before GST Appellate Tribunal will start from a date to be notified. So you need not require to worry about. When date will be notified, then only your this criteria stipulated time period will start working. So as on date, we are having relief that this date is not yet notified. This is the first part of the story. Second part, pre-deposit. What is the existing provision? They are saying existing provision was 20% of disputed tax, subject to maximum of 100 crore, 50 CGST, 50 SGST. Now it is being reduced to 10% of disputed tax as against 20% of disputed tax, subject to maximum of 40 crore. 20 CGST, 20 SGST. For IGST, it is 40 crore. This is how the reduction they have done. For appeal before Appellate Tribunal, which is yet to be formed, and date going to be notified for filing appeal before GST Appellate Tribunal. To my mind, even though reduction is done in pre-deposit, but it is still high. Could have done the similar change as existing in pre-GST era. It was 7.5% first appeal, and then in addition 2.5% before tribunal, subject to maximum of 10 crore. They could have made this provision. Still, they have reduced to certain extent, but that is what the change they have brought through Union Budget 2024 in pre-deposit provision. Am I clear to all? Can I see yes in your question answers tab? Can you say yes? You can say thumbs up so that I get a clarity that my audience has got it. Okay, perfect. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Perfect. All right. I will take your query, Neil. Don't worry. So Neil is saying, sir, one query. Don't worry. I will take question answer session at the end of my session. So allow me to carry on. So am I clear to all? Am I clear to all? Thank you very much. Now, the important change. Section 128 capital A. 128 capital A is a GST amnesty scheme. GST amnesty scheme, and you need to listen me carefully. This is very interesting, very important for lot many taxpayers. What it is saying, listen very carefully. If so-called notice is being issued, Section 73 non-fraud case, for three financial year, 17-18, 18-19, and 19-20. If so-called notice issued under Section 73 for non-fraud case, 3 financial year, and this so-called notice is demanding, let's say 10 lakh rupees tax liability, assume for 17-18, and quite obvious interest would be more than 10 lakh rupees, and there would be penalty of 10%, demanding, then this section 128 capital A is giving amnesty to all of us together. What it is saying, you have to listen very carefully. If it is a case of non-payment of tax, short payment of tax, ITC wrongly availed or utilized, it is not applicable for erroneous refund. Applicable only for Section 73 non-fraud case for initial 3 financial year. If you pay the liability by a date to be notified, this date is going to be notified, tax demanded. You pay by a date to be notified. No interest, no penalty. You need not require to pay any interest or penalty. You have to only deposit the tax component. Only the tax component by a date to be notified. Of course, 53rd GST Council meeting has said 31st March 2025, but as per section 128 capital A, they are clearly saying by a date to be notified. Pay the demanded tax amount. Now, here some questions are coming and which we are asking. I'm trying to clarify those questions. What all cases are being covered in section 128 capital? Category A, where so-called notice is being issued, order is not passed. Original adjudication order is not being passed. Second case, original adjudication order is being passed, you have gone for appeal, and first appellate authority has not passed the order. Second category. Third category, order and appeal has been passed, and you need to file appeal before GST appellate tribunal, which is not yet formed. All 3 cases are covered. All 3 cases are covered for section 73 for initial 3 financial year. Demanded tax amount to be paid by a date to be notified. This is first part of the story. Second part of the story. If you are in appeal, you are also entitled to get benefit, then can you go for it? Of course you can go for it. So you have to file a declaration that, okay, I'm availing this benefit. I will not litigate the subject matter. So you will withdraw such appeal or writ before the High Court in case you have gone for litigation. You have to withdraw everything. Then only you are being given relief. So they are only saying demanded tax amount to be paid by a date to be notified. So you will not be required to pay any interest or penalty. Now, having said that, the rider 1, in case you have paid the interest also, let's assume, along with tax, whether you will get the relief. Irony of GST law, I'm telling you, irony of GST law. We have seen in GST only non-compliant taxpayer gets the advantage. Those who are compliant taxpayer, they never get the advantage. If you have paid the amount, then no refund. Will not be given any refund of interest or penalty in case you have paid. Very, very difficult task. Another aspect which is also being covered under section 128 capital A is sometime what happened, department has passed the original order in your favor. In your favor, taxpayer's favor. And department has filed appeal against that order. and that appeal is pending, you will also get relief for all such cases. Provided if appellate authority is revising any quantified amount of tax demanded, you need to pay that revisional amount which is being quantified within 3 months from the service of the order. So you will get that relief. Another aspect which is also important for all of us as a tax planning, which has been covered in section 128 capital A. Listen very carefully what it is saying. Let's say some so-called notice issued under section 74 fraud case. The face of it is not covered. But what it is saying, listen carefully. They're saying if some so-called notice is being issued under section 74 and order is being passed by appellate authority or court saying that there's no fraud involved, it is a non-fraud case and matter is being remanded back to the original adjudication authority, then all such cases are also covered in section 128 capital A. Even though so-called notice issued under section 74, which is being remanded back to the proper officer by higher up authority, that this is a non-fraud case, then such cases are also covered for the coverage under section 128 capital A. So this is kind of GST amnesty scheme. So you'd be asking, Bimalji, has it got implemented? See, provision is being made. It will be, by way of rules or circular, they will clarify what all are being covered, what is the date, by the date you need to pay the demanded tax amount. There may be a situation that you have paid the demanded tax amount, only interest and penalty is being left out. Are we covered? So to my mind, when we have paid the demanded tax amount by a date to be notified, then I should get a relief for interest and penalty also. But rules and circular will clarify all this position. So we need to wait and watch. So this is yet to be notified. These sections yet to be notified. This is what the change under section 128 capital A. So I have picked up all the important changes Union Budget 2024 pertaining to GST law. There are some more changes which I would like to draw as a last point to each one of you. Like 73 or 74 is only applicable up to 23-24 financial year. So wherever you find reference of 23-24 financial year, they have inserted the reference of 74A is applicable from financial year 24-25 and onwards. Many sections, 17-18 sections are there where they have got the reference of 74A, common timeline for the non-fraud and fraud cases. So I'm not discussing those individual sections, but the important one, whatever I thought I must pass on to my audience, I have communicated to my participants. So these are the important changes coming from Union Budget 2024. Now, some of the point. I'm getting a call from both taxpayer also and department also. Section 16, subsection 4, if we look at section 16, subsection 5, subsection 6, section 128, capital A, these are all part of Finance Act, but yet to be notified. Problem which I'm finding, I'm telling you today morning, I was talking to one of the GST officer. He called me up and he said, Bimalji, I want to give a relief to the taxpayer on time limit, section 16, subsection 5. But what to be done? This section is not yet notified. So what we should do, I said, sir, when this is a part of Finance Act, applicable retrospectively, then quite obvious it will come maybe in a month or two, you can pause. But what he was telling me, Bimalji, if at all I need to pass order and there is cutoff date, this section is not yet notified. What should I do? And I have responded back and I said, then you're having two options. The first option, either your commissioner can take a call because these are the part of Finance Act and definitely for sure it will get notified. You put it in a call book with due consensus. Otherwise, what happens? You will pass the order and unnecessarily he has to file appeal. And for filing appeal, again, disputed tax, the 10% need to be deposited. Is of no use because before appellate authority, the section gets notified, I will get the relief, then again getting back my pre-deposit. So it's a cumbersome process. So this particular thing is also going simultaneously at different field formation. I hope you must be experiencing this problem at your end as well. But this is what somewhere they are giving relief, somewhere they are not willing to give the relief. They are only saying, since this section is not notified, we can't help it. And this is what the challenge for all of us together. So with this webinar, I'm also requesting CBIC and GST Council. Of course, it's a part of Finance Act. Why can't you immediately? Of course, we have seen that SGST corresponding changes takes time. But at least make the part of CGST and get these sections notified, which is already passed and become Finance Act. So necessarily relief to be given to the aggrieved taxpayer. This would be my submission and hope you will agree with me. So I have summed up my all pointers, important changes in GST law, maybe 5-7 minutes. There's a colleague from Zoho. He would like to present Zoho Books application to you, and then we will start with the question answer session. Handing over to hers to take it from here.
Thank you so much, Bimal Jain ji, for this lovely insight on GST. And attendees, I would like to tell you that Bimal sir just landed at 3:30 at Ahmedabad, and in 1 hour he was ready for us. And the energy, 1 hour without presentation, that shows the overflow of passion that he has. So thank you so much, Bimal Jain ji, for this. And we'll just give 5-7 minutes of rest to Bimal sir before he starts taking your questions. And with that, I'll invite Jayant. He's from Zoho Finance team. And as sir said, he would just like to talk about few inputs of Zoho Books on how Zoho Books can help us with the practice. Jayant, the dais is all yours. And thank you, sir.
Hey, thank you so much, Harsh. Good evening, everyone. It's always a pleasure to be a part of Bimalji's session. So my name is Jayant and I'm looking after Zoho Finance Consulting Partnership Program for Eastern India. So I would like to highlight you the key components of Zoho Finance. So at Zoho, we have a comprehensive finance management platform to help businesses manage their accounting, invoicing, and various other financial operations. I would like to highlight a few key components included in the Zoho Finance bundle, starting off with Zoho Books. So Zoho Books is the online accounting software designed for small and medium-sized businesses. With Zoho Books, you can, manage all your AR, AP, bank reconciliation. You can generate financial reports. It has integration with GST portal, wherein you can do your GST filing. It takes care of all the tax compliances, and it can also generate tax reports. So there are various.
Sorry to interrupt. People are saying that this audio is not clear, and if you're presenting anything, then we are not able to see.
Actually, I'm not presenting. Just one moment.
Let
me just check my audio. Just a minute. Am I audible now, Harsh?
Yes, now the clarity is clear.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so let me probably, I'll share my screen and I'll just quickly take you through Zoho Books. Is my screen visible, Harsh?
It's uploading. Yeah, it's there.
Okay, perfect. So this is the cloud accounting software Zoho Books. With Zoho Books, you can manage all aspects of your finance. So right from generating your financial reports to tracking your day-to-day expenses, invoicing your customers, you can handle all aspects of your finance. So this is a cloud accounting software. So all you need is a browser to access the application. So Zoho Books dashboard gives you cloud. It gives you a complete, background of your financial health of your organization. So you can track the total receivables, payables, the day-to-day cash flow, and monthly income and expenses can be tracked right from the screen. And Zoho Books is a GST. You can file all your GST returns directly from the application. So to connect Zoho Books to the GST portal, all you need to do is connect Zoho Books to the government portal. So this is a one-time configuration. So here you just have to connect the GST number to the government portal. Once the connection is done, you'll be able to pass all your sales and purchase related transactions. And once that is done, you can generate your monthly, quarterly, and annual returns through Zoho Books. So here you can see the financial summary for the current fiscal year. So you can generate the various returns like GSTR 1, 2, 3B. You can process all the payments through the application. And not just GST filing, Zoho Books is also connected to the e-invoicing portal. So you can create simple invoices through Zoho Books. And once these invoices are created, you can push it to the e-invoicing portal, wherein it will generate the QRN number along with the QR code and push it back to Zoho Books. So in few simple clicks, you can do your GST filing and e-invoicing through Zoho. And not just that, it also has integration with the e-way bill portal. So you can either fetch the e-way bill number from the e-way bill portal. If not, you can create all your transactions, sales and purchase transactions in books and pass the entries to the e-way bill portal. And last but not least, it has the audit trial report as well. So every single activity in your system is automatically captured along with the date and timestamp. So this way you can see which user has recorded the transaction, who has modified it, and it has various versions of every single transaction. So this way you can compare the first version with the most recent one, and you can see what has changed in the subsequent versions of the transaction. So how can you partner with Zoho? So we have an interesting partnership program here, like a consulting partner to your customers. So with this consulting program, you officially sign an agreement with Zoho, wherein you can provide Zoho Finance as a service to your customers. So along with these services, you can get various benefits as well. So talking about the benefits, so there are multiple aspects to it, both monetary and non-monetary. So talking about the non-monetary benefit, so you will be provided with complimentary Zoho licenses. So under Zoho, we have more than 55 plus business applications under different business verticals. So once you sign the partnership agreement with Zoho, you will be provided with a single user license of the Zoho One suite. So Zoho One is an all-in-one business platform which has more than 55 plus applications under various business domains like sales, marketing, finance, HRMS, project management, and so on. And on top of this, you can also work closely with a partner relationship manager, wherein you can discuss go-to-market strategies and tailor the software to fit the requirement of your end customers. And also, you will be part of various user conferences. So we conduct various events throughout the year, like Zoholics, partner meetup, workshops, and roadshows. So during such conferences, you will get to network with prospective customers, and you can also meet the leadership team of Zoho. So these are some of the key components of the partnership model. So over to you, Harsh.
Thank you so much, James, for your lovely introduction to Zoho Books and the partnership opportunities. So people, we are back with the question and answer session. So Bimal sir, shall I start?
Please, yeah, please.
All right, sir. So first question is from Madhusudan ji. Dear sir, what about RCM payable in case purchased from registered persons, which is auto-populated in GSTR 3B, which is not paid at that time?
Madhusudan ji, if it is from registered person, then you're liable, but your credit is not available as per the example I given to you. Whatever discussion we have done in the context when supplier is unregistered. And you as a recipient need to raise self-invoice to yourself. Then only you can apply those provisions and the circular reference of 211 given to you. In case of registered suppliers subject to RCM, I have categorically said all the discussion, whatever we have done is not going to be applicable. So Madhusudan ji, I regret. Next.
All right. From Mananji, what if payment made in 1922 URD, only RCM is unpaid?
RCM is unpaid means that need to be paid for availing credit and you need to raise self-invoice to yourself. So, of course, you raise the self-invoice to yourself, current dated, pay the RCM liability along with interest, avail the credit. Interest is a cost to you. That would be my answers to Manan.
Benji is asking if RCM paid by mistake in FY 1920 and claimed ITC also. Now department said that you are not eligible for this ITC and refund time also passed. Now any solutions are?
If they are saying that this is not liable and you have paid and availed the ITC, so they want you to reverse ITC, but they are talking about refund mechanism. To my mind, it is not in the form of taxes and duties for which time limit going to be applicable, depend. To my mind, and 2 years criteria cannot be made applicable here. It is a kind of deposit only, and it can go beyond 2 years time limit as well. If it is not a tax and duties, you can't apply the formula of section 54, 2 years time limit. That would be my submission, but of course, subjective point.
From Amit ji, if a person is unregistered and provided services and later got himself registered and continue provide service, that's
if it is in the context of RCM, like you can say GTA also I can assume, we need to bifurcate the period. The period for which supplier was unregistered, the period for which supplier is registered. And that is how we have to look at our discussion for payment and availing credit. That is my answer, Amit, to you.
Sir, Vinod,
Vinod is saying in the course of import of service, the same, discussion, whatever we did, self-invoice to yourself, the same provision going to be applicable when you talk about, raising self-invoice, availing credit, paying the liability, same, whatever we discuss as if you have procured from unregistered supplier. Vinod.
All right. So next question is from Ashok. Dipen sir's question has been repeated, so I'm not taking that. Sir, as per earlier dates of ITC claim up to September 19 for FY 18-19, Assistant Commissioner has passed the order against us. And we have filed appeal to JC Appeal, but he is demanding 10% mandatory deposit. But now the dates got changed to November 21. How should we use 16 subsection 5? Should we withdraw appeal and not pay mandatory deposit as order has become null and void now? Please advise, sir, as refund of mandatory deposit will take time later for refund.
Ashok, I have communicated that section 16 subsection 5 is not yet notified. And officers can always take a view that since it is not notified, so it is not binding on them. So for me, legally, of course, I understand that appeal is there, withdrawing the appeal which you are referring, citing this section. I will not suggest to you at this point of time. My suggestion to you would be wait till the time the section gets notified, get the appellate order in your favor, and then citing that notified section, which is already section today exists, but not yet notified. Once gets notified, show it to appellate authority. Get the appellate order in your favor, and then go for demanding refund of your pre-deposit amount. That would be my suggestion also. So hope you have understood it. And this is quite, tricky situation, and different practices are followed in a different field formation. But to your question, this would be my reply.
C. Amrita Ji, my client received SCN under Section 125 for penalty leviable for non-filing of GSTR 3B on due date for the month of July 2024. Client did not even have any liability. Why this might have been issued?
See, you have to see, Amrita, that even though you're not having liability, but nil return need to be filed. And since nil return is not being filed, this penalty got levied. So you can always present your case before the authority and defend yourself that there's no liability exists for me. Of course, somehow it is being missed or somewhat happened, and that is how you can request and defend yourself for vacating that penalty notices. That would be my submission. Of course, there is no liability. I do agree, but of course, if not, there is no liability, nil return need to be filed. This is what the provision. So might be you have not filed your nil return, this penalty notice is being issued to you.
Praveen Ji is asking, so please repeat, the interest will be levied on net or gross after introduction of Section 74A.
74A, if any proceedings which is being initiated either under Section 73, 74 or 74A, then interest leviable on gross tax liability, Praveen. That is what the provision, gross tax, the example which I narrated.
From Piyush Singh, so what is time limit for GST departmental audit? I have received notice for 6 years from 17-18 to 22-23.
17-18 for 73, you look at, time limit always need to be looked into from a perspective of time limit open for issuance of order and so cause notice. Non-fraud case, Section 73, fraud case, Section 74, from that perspective. So if they are alleging some fraud, then they can always say that due date of furnishing annual return was 5th or 7th of February 2020. You would be recalling that. So if it is 74 case, then it already got expired for 17-18. So that is how you need to look at the time period, Piyush. And you need to really look at whether they are invoking 73 or 74. It is subjective point. So depending on the time limit, how to look at, I have tried to assist you. That is how we look at the time period, and then only we can say whether permissible or not permissible.
Right. From Neil, what if a demand order is only against interest liability?
Neil, I agree this question is existing pan-India, that I pay the tax amount. Only order is pertaining to interest. Will I get the relief or not? To my mind, of course, we must get the relief, but we all are waiting for the rules and circular in this regard. So you need to wait. If demanded tax amount is being paid by a cutoff, then quite obvious I must get relief for interest and penalty. That is what Section 128 capital A. But we need to wait for the detailed rules and circular in this regard.
Ashwin Ji, FY 17-18, one has paid the tax and interest, will get the refund of interest paid.
Ashwin, I've said, if you have paid the interest, no relief, nothing, no refund permissible. That is what Section 128 capital A specific provision.
Right. From JS Gugalia Ji, advocate fees paid in 2021, but tax under RCM not paid. Whether still I can take benefit of circular number 211?
Yes, you can. And that is what, RCM you need to pay on self-invoice basis along with interest. And then you can avail credit on self-invoice basis. That is what I've explained while discussing the case study.
Right. So how many questions are you willing to take?
We may take 2 or 3 as left out. We can take these 2, 3 and then close.
All right, sir. By Rima Ji, what if date to be notified for amnesty is after permissible time for appeal?
My suggestion to you would be that if you need to file appeal, you must file appeal and then withdraw appeal as and when it gets notified. So you should not wait until then, otherwise it would be barred by limitation. That would be my suggestion, Rima.
Somnath Senji, do I require to mention self-invoice?
Not required, need not required, Somnath.
All right. Last question for the day from Arunji. ITC for FY 18-19 refers through DRC 03 under section 16/4. The said reversal was made under protest mentioned in DRC 03 also. Will the refund be allowed for the ITC so reversed?
If it is reverse under protest, then of course you have subjective point and litigation point. Then you can always say I have not accepted the liability. So to my mind, then you should get the relief. That would be my answer to you, Arun.
All right. So with this, we have completed a list of questions.
So before we say that yes, we have tried from our side, before we say goodbye to each other today, I'm thanking all the participants who are joining Pan India. I have tried my best to explain each of the important changes in GST Law Union Budget 2024. Thanking Hers and Zoho Books for making this Zoho Books platform available to all of us together, where we are trying and interacting and really making GST good and simple tax. So thanking once again to all the participants. Now I'm sure you must have got a number of good pointers from today's webinar. And without saying, you will get the video recording also from the Zoho Books side. So thanking once again and thanking Hers also and to all the participants. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. It was great having you here. Your passion is there to see always. And I see that you're tired, but you're not down at all. So this is what the Bimal sir, we all know. So thank you, sir. Even after so much of hectic schedule, took time for us. With this, I thank all the attendees. And small thing, Bimal sir is coming on 28 September to Chandigarh. So any folks, if you are available or you want your friends or family people to meet Bimal sir, please invite them from our behalf. The venue will be communicated soon in the next couple of days. Please stay tuned for that. Thank you, everyone, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.